when the mayor did what he did, I was particularly impressed and wanted to personally express my support for his signing on there. And so this is the first stop of several that I'll be making around the state to push gun safety. We have a common sense approach to gun safety, which can be, I can talk about some of those points, but basically in the future every gun should be permitted. If we have a legal gun in the state, it should be permitted, and everyone should have to go through a background check, and there should be no private sales of guns in our state. And although we've had on the record, or on the books, we've had a assault weapons ban since 1994. The simple truth is that the industry got around that ban, and we have come up with a definition that I think is undeniable and that nobody can get around. So those are the big points, as many of you know, in this proposal, and I believe the legislature will take up the proposal in the not too distant future, whether it's weeks or a month or two away, I don't know, but I want to make sure it gets taken up and there's a fair discussion and there's a up or down vote on it.
Would you want to wait until the commission?
Ladies first.
Would you want to wait until the commission comes out with some recommendations?
Well, in this proposal that I rolled out last week, I did forward additional discussion items that pertain to the overall issue, including, by the way, to make additional recommendations with respect to the safe storage of guns. In Connecticut, we've long said, well, if you fail to properly store your gun and a child is injured, then you're liable. I'd like to take it a step further. If you improperly store your gun and anyone's injured, there's a liability that attaches. But we'll also ask the Sandy Hook panel to make some additional recommendations. Obviously, that's also a panel that's heavily weighted on the mental health side, and we await their recommendations on that. But I've come forward with the common sense portion of this thing, which I think 75% of the American people agree. We know that a majority of NRA members believe in universal background checks. I mean, there's a certain reality in this country. You can't get on a plane without somebody doing a background check on you. Why should you be able to have a gun without that happening?
Governor, what is your interactions with the family in the recent weeks from Newtown on this proposal? And this,
I was, I rolled out this proposal, as you might know, when Vice President Biden was in Danbury. There were a number of family members. I've had ongoing discussions with family members at memorial services, at art display openings. Several have come to my office to speak to me. I haven't spoken to everyone, but I can tell you that I haven't spoken to anyone who's against it.
Governor, as long as these weapons can be purchased legally out of state, how much can you do in Connecticut to keep them off the streets?
I think we can do a lot. We can make it illegal to have the gun. And again, this is not a confiscation bill, so that the guns that currently exist, you'd have to declare and then get a permit for. But future sales would be eliminated in our state. A more perfect solution would be to do it on a national basis, but you never should make the perfect solution the enemy of a better solution, and this is better than what we currently have.
Are you waiting to see what happens nationally with a national reform? Or?
I think we should be leaders, not followers. Okay.
What are your expectations for a timeline for this?
The Speaker and the President Pro Tem of the Senate have to have their discussions along with the Republican leaders. If it can be done on a bipartisan basis, I absolutely want it to be done on a bipartisan basis. If it can't be done on a bipartisan basis, that is between the leaders, there's no doubt in my mind that there'll be Republican and Democrat votes for this package, and there'll be Democrat Republican votes against it. But I think ultimately it passes.
With bipartisan support?
Yes, I believe it will. But leadership defines bipartisanship differently. Well, sometimes when they want to. I mean, I think it will attract both Democrat and Republican votes for it. I think there'll be both Democrat and Republican votes against it. Where the majorities lie, I believe I can't predict in each amongst each party where the majorities lie. But I think this thing can pass.
Is it your sense that this is a priority in the legislature, or that it might get bogged down
I think, Fran, it's a fair question, and one of the reasons that I decided to get more actively involved in this is, you know, that we're about 76 days after this thing happened. It's time to do something, and sooner would be better. On top of which, I think there's a lot of people in the nation looking to Connecticut and saying, hey, we understand you couldn't do this right away, that there were other things that had to be done, and including making sure that the family members had time to speak to the issue. But you know, we don't want to keep the nation waiting. We should be saying something.
What did you two, or 3 or 4 or 5 discuss in that?
Well, you know, it was just great to catch up with the public safety head and the mayor, who obviously I've known for many years, and the leadership of the police department, who I've known for years. But I wanted to make sure that in basic terms they understood where I was coming from, and a lot of this is consistent with things that the mayor has signed on to and I've signed on to in the past, and this is a common sense approach. And so they understand it. They'll study it a little bit further, I'm sure, but I think in basic terms we all understand that something has to be done.